Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for coming along today. Welcome to Step Up 2021, Drake Music's six-part web series. I am Cassie Girling. I am one of the musical inclusion practitioner and managers at Drake Music. I am a mixed race woman in my 30s. I have my hair scraped back. I am sitting in my living room, and it's great to be with you here today. I am here with my colleague, Bee Hubble.
Hi, thanks Cassie. Great to have you all here. Welcome. It's a real joy to be starting these webinars today, especially with the exciting lineup that we've got for you. My name's Bee and Cassie and I are in a job share. I am a white woman in my 30s with long brown hair, and I'm wearing my very first leopard print item today. Very excited by that. Welcome to the room. Back to you,
Welcome,
Cassie.
everyone. Joy, if you'd like to share our presentation on the first slide of the screen, that would be great. So I believe we have a mixture of music leaders, teachers, and tutors here today. And together, over the next few months, we'll be getting to grips with the building blocks of inclusion. And across this 6-episode series, we'll be giving you practical tools to develop your teaching practice, making it more inclusive and accessible. Could you please move to the next slide, please, Joy?
Great, thanks, Joy. I can just see that Martin has put in the chat about closed captioning. If you'd like captions for this webinar, please refer to his instructions there and join us on the live transcript. We've got an excellent captioner with us today who will keep you appraised of events. So this is our timetable for our webinar series. We're going to be looking at inclusion from different angles, including communication, progression, music tech, and ensembles. The episodes are here, as you can see. Today is the 4th of March. How did we get to March already? It's a mystery. Here we are. We're going to start with the music today. So you'll hear 3 wonderful performers performing for you today. There'll be opportunity to ask them questions. I hope it's going to be a really great start. It'll be brilliant. Our next session will be on the 25th of March. That'll be with 2 of our associate musicians who work with Drake Music, Georgina Asgard and Ben Sellers. They will be talking to you about inclusive music making activities. 22nd of April, we'll be joined by Professor Adam Ockleford, who is the founder of the Sounds of Intent framework. This is a framework that you can use to track and assess the progress of young people with additional needs with music. 17th of June, we will hopefully have some of our new emergent artists joining us for implementing music tech in the classroom. Maybe you've got some tech in your house or in your school that you've never quite been brave enough to get to grips with, so that would be a great chance for you to get to grips with that at that next webinar. And we've got one that's a closed webinar on the 30th of September, which will be for our partner hubs, Coventry, Essex, Thames and Newham, to be talking about our inclusion journey, which we will share with everyone after we have talked more about that. So let's get on with bringing you some actual live music. Cassie, back to you.
Thanks, Bee. So people often ask us where to begin in regards to inclusion, and we always say start with the music. So today, for episode 1, we are all going to experience together 3 extremely talented musicians who identify as disabled. They're going to be performing live for us all, and there's also going to be a video. And the reason why we are starting with showcasing some professional and developing artists is to show the journey of progression beyond the learning environment and the results of removing barriers from accessing music education. So we're going to be experiencing music from Sonia Allori, Alessandro Vazzana and Steve Varden.
Great. Thanks, Cassie. Just final thing to say before we let Ali kick off our event today is just some Zoom housekeeping points. I've already mentioned the captions. If you have any technical difficulties at all during this webinar, please message the panelists. We've got Joy and Martin on hand to help, so you can use the chat function to do that. I have actually just made a boo-boo there. It's Sonia first, not Ali. Sorry, what am I talking about? Thank you, Joy, for alerting me to that. And we highly encourage you to use the chat function and the Q&A function to ask questions of the performers or of ourselves at Drake. Of course, goes without saying, please keep your questions positive, respectful, and use appropriate language. But thanks so much for joining us, and let's hear our first performer.
So Sonia is a composer, performer, researcher, and music therapist. And I'm going to read out some words in Sonia's own words, during which she'll be describing her instrument and the piece that we're going to be experiencing through a video. So these are Sonia's own words. I'm playing an Akai Yui, or electronic wind instrument. I started to play it towards the end of 2019 while performing in The Lost Thing at the Royal Opera House in their joint production with Kanduko. The composer for the project had written large areas of very fast, highly articulated passages in the clarinet part. I have muscle weakness on one side of my face, which affects my embouchure when playing and results in it being tricky to play highly articulated music over long periods. I had just bought a Yui for another project and had the idea to try playing these musical passages on it instead of on B-flat clarinet. I was immediately struck by how light the instrument was and how much easier it is to play virtuosic material. As well as being much lighter, there is much less fatigue in breathing, and the fingering requires only a light touch and much less complexity than with a traditional woodwind instrument. I'm very intrigued by the Yui and how far I can take this in the new concerto. This is the first movement of a new concerto I'm writing for Yui. I'm working at the moment on a funding application to complete the work and hoping to perform the final piece in 2022. The music is abstract and non-linear, much like the accompanying film, but also describes my coming to terms with severe hearing loss and continued curiosity for all the small facets of life. I've chosen to play it here today because it's great to open up to new audiences, but particularly to highlight the Yui to everyone, which is still a relatively new discovery for me, but has such wide-ranging possibility in my continuing career as a composer performer. So thank you for that, Sonia. And let's have a listen to Sonia's Yui.
What can you hear when you see the sea? Nothing now but remembered sounds. Whales cut trails through velvet sand, deeper and deeper making narrow bands. You chance upon a shell, casting shadows like ears in the afternoon sun.
Wow, that was incredible. That was so incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sonia. We've had some really great questions in that I can see you've answered. I'm going to read them out for everyone. So, one question from Tim Fletcher. He asked, how much of what we can hear is the UE? And Sonia wrote, everything you hear is produced by the UE, which is awesome. It kind of sounds like it's like it's multiple instruments.
Ah, we can see it there. Sonia's holding up the UE. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
It's very 80s looking.
It is, it is. I'm glad we've said it. We're all thinking it. Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. How old is it as an instrument?
I think there have been a number of models. This is the latest one, which makes use of USB and also wireless, so you can play it without any cords coming off, which is
Wow.
quite good when you're on wheels.
Is that hits another question of what Helen Bailey said. What equipment do you need other than the actual UE to play?
So to play it, I use a tiny speaker at the moment. It's a wireless speaker, just a small one, but it can be hooked up to massive monitors. You can also play it through your sound interface through your computer, through Ableton, which is what I'm experimenting with at the moment. It's a synth. Mine is called Cynthia, obviously. And what I'm looking to do with it is to trigger sounds and work with looping in the next movement, hopefully.
Awesome. The question here from John Kelly, is there much delay with the wireless?
No, only the usual latency when you're playing online. But no, it's so intuitive that it's almost like playing a live woodwind instrument. I think that's what has surprised me so much about it, just how intuitive that you can be. Almost to the same that sometimes you can squeak with it like you do on a traditional wind instrument, which I quite enjoy because it sort of makes it more authentic.
I think that's a really interesting point, isn't it? It's nice to be able to make mistakes on instruments. Actually, you can get so much out of doing that. I think so much learning. Andy Hurd says, are the sounds produced MIDI based?
The sounds that you hear on the first movement are all sounds made from the preset bass. So yes, I used the clarinet sound mostly, but because you can morph into such an extended range of pitches, the sound changes it anyway. You can also play with delay, and you can play chords. You can play more than one note at the beginning. I know there's a lot more that I still have to learn, but I've been trying to do some extended techniques on it as well. So it's a work in progress for me, and I think I'll get better at it. I've just seen a question in the chat about the fingering. The fingering, it has two options. So the fingering is that you can actually choose between a woodwind bass fingering, but that's based on flute and saxophone fingering, which both have the same, which is different to the clarinet. Or you can play it with a basic brass fingering. So I guess that makes it open to more players, but not clarinet fingering, which was quite odd. But I think because I play the sax as well, it wasn't so peculiar. quite peculiar, but not as peculiar.
Nice. Karen says, I think you touched on this briefly with one of your other answers. Can you play more than one note at the same time?
Yes, you can. You can leave one note hanging and start another note. And just by flicking some of these switches on the side, you can release different notes. So you can play, I think, 2 or 3 notes at once, and you can build them up in layers.
Amazing. Sonia, we can't thank you enough for sending us that video, giving us a preview of your piece. We can't wait to hear the rest of it. May all the funding land and we can hear it all as soon as possible. The UE is brilliant. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions for Sonia, you can continue to put them in the chat, and we can feed those back as we go, perhaps at the end as well. Amazing. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're running incredibly well to time, so it is 4:25, and it's time for us to hear from Alessandro. I'm going to give Alessandro a little introduction, a bit of backstory. He and I actually know each other from my other role as a music leader for National Open Youth Orchestra, which can also be introduced as NOYO. NOYO is the first disabled-led youth orchestra in the world. It currently has centres in London, Bristol and Bournemouth, and each centre rehearses separately and comes together once a year to play as a full ensemble. The orchestra is a non-traditional ensemble featuring several musicians using adaptive technology to play. Ali is one of these musicians. He uses the open-up music technology called the Clarion. Ali has written an introduction to himself and his instrument, which I will now read. Great. My name is Alessandro. I'm a 23-year-old young man who is a power wheelchair user. I was born in Rome and am half Scottish, half Italian. If you would see me, you would see my Scottish side. The wheelchair decoration would show you some of my hobbies: watching live sport, Six Nations rugby, Chelsea Football Club, and I can drive well enough to win medals in wheelchair hockey and slalom at national level. Awesome. Here's a bit of information now that Ali's written about the Clarion, the instrument he's playing, which goes thus. I play the Clarion, a musical instrument that is on my laptop. I play it using a gyroscopic mouse, which I wear on my head. I've always loved music and have tried to play the piano, drums, bells, and I also sing. I have always enjoyed making music as part of a group or choir since primary school. When I left school, there were no music lessons at college, so I fought to get music into the curriculum and started to play the Clarion. This was about 2 years ago. I was playing it initially on my iPad with my finger, but when I went for an audition with the National Open Youth Orchestra, they suggested I move to a remote head control. I joined NOYO just before the first lockdown as a trainee and was promoted to being a full member in September 2020. I am really enjoying being part of the orchestra and learning some challenging new pieces. Today I'm going to play Bring Him Home from Les Miserables. I love musical theatre and enjoy singing along to this piece with Josh Groban on YouTube. My Clarion music tutor thought this would be a great way of combining my 2 musical interests last summer as I started to learn the Clarion more seriously. So we've been trying out different music as a way of finding out what we can do with the instrument. I'm hoping to perform it on Clarion with a local choir this summer. Thanks so much for writing that excellent introduction, Ali. And just as you start to play now, I can let everyone know that Ali has got 2 windows that you'll see spotlighted. One, you'll see him operating with a gyroscopic mouse, singular, on his head. And the other, you'll be able to see the screen as he is playing. So I will hush, and we're looking forward to hearing Bring Him Home. Thank you, Ali.
apologies, we've had problems with technology. Can we let him start again?
Absolutely fine, no problem at all.
I'm really sorry.
Perfect. Absolutely fine, don't worry, it's fine. Do you want to have a second to reset?
Yeah,
Brilliant. Don't worry at all. As we always say at Drake, technology, brilliant, sometimes can let you down, but we always learn a lot when it goes wrong. So take your time, Ali.
Okay. I apologise.
Absolutely fine. No, it's brilliant. Should we? Why don't we reset? Or do you want a second to turn everything off and on? And we can perhaps jump on to Steve and come back. Yeah. Should we jump on to Steve? Steve, are you there? Are you able to jump on?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Steve. Thanks so much. Ali, we'll be back with you in a minute. We'll let you have a second to reset. Thanks so much, Steve. Joy, can we pin Steve, please?
I had 200.
Steve's got 2 cameras as well.
Aha.
You can spotlight them both.
Excellent.
That would
Thanks, Joy, for doing that. That's great. Welcome, Steve.
Hi. Hey, you do it?
Hi, Steve.
You do it?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Steve Varden is my name. I am a 54-year-old, somewhat balding white male who happens to have cerebral palsy, and I still have some of my own teeth. However, I have a Zoom screen age of 34, with a full head of hair and a bright white teeth-full cheesy smile. Some people say that I look like Brad Pitt, but an awful lot more people say that I don't. As a mainly self-taught musician, I am always on the lookout for mainstream commercially available instruments that I may be able to play, given my abilities as a disabled musician. As you will see, I play the vast majority of my electronic instruments with just my right thumb and index finger. Sometimes I may not be able to access all of the features in my electronic instruments because of the need for double key presses, etc. However, the one thing that improves their accessibility more than anything else for me is the way that my instruments are mounted and held secure for me to play, and I suppose that is what customizes them to my needs. Velcro is my best friend and I'm sticking with it. So today, I am going to try to give you a quick demonstration of 7 of my favorite and most accessible electronic instruments. I am not going to be doing anything clever because I want to show you some of the sounds that can be played straight out of the box, should you want to acquire and experiment with any of the following.
Yeah. That's it.
Amazing.
That was so awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. It's yeah, you've got a little slice of heaven there in your rave cave with all that tech. That's the dream. You've got so many questions as well. Um, one of them was, Steve, do you record your music?
I try.
He says he tries.
Getting there, yeah.
Getting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
And
And
I'm here. No.
He said anything else?
yeah, yeah. There was a circular instrument with a light. Lots of questions about that instrument. What instrument is that, and what does it do?
It is the Zoom ARQ48.
And it's a synthesizer.
And it's a synthesizer.
And it's pretty affordable.
And it's pretty affordable.
Yeah, about 100.
About 100 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, the detachable.
Oh yeah, the ring on it is detachable.
At the moment, it's a cable.
At the moment, Steve's got it on a cable.
It can be Bluetooth.
Oh, but it can work via Bluetooth.
So you can have it, yeah. It's you.
It's what?
Yeah, it's you.
Very,
It's you.
very accessible.
For
Yeah,
me.
for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's your favourite piece of kit at the moment? Glyn Murphy asks you.
It's just you.
It's the new Blip box.
You. I had a few weeks.
So he's only had it a few weeks.
Not really. I'm very down.
What you got now?
I'm very down.
Can't put it down.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Steve. That was great.
Alright.
If we could have you every day, sort of 5 o'clock for the end of the pump out, that'd be awesome. It's so brilliant. I don't know about anyone else, but it's so nice to have this opportunity to listen to music with other people. We have missed that, I think, a lot over this year. So such a treat. Thank you for taking us into your tech cave, Steve. Thank you. Super to have you. Oh, Ali, your camera's come back on. This looks like a good sign. How are you doing? Thumbs up from Ali there. Hi, Ali.
Hi,
Hey.
it looks like working out.
How's it going? Amazing. Well done, Ali. Brilliant. Thank you so much. And thank you to Anne as well there for her excellent technical support. Brilliant. Amazing. It's such a new piece of kit, and I don't wanna say anything unnecessary here, but I reckon that is potentially one of the first public performances a Clarion has ever done, ever, on a Zoom call. And I just think that we are in the presence of history here, and Open Up have done such a fabulous job with it. And Ali, you've only been playing that instrument for 2 years and less, actually, with the gyroscopic head mouse. That's actually been 4-5 months since you've had that piece of kit. It's an incredible achievement, and we can hear your musicality come through so beautifully there. I think you might have seen in the chat I said that different parts of the shapes make different volume sounds, don't they? So really brilliant. So good to hear that, and I mean, well done for getting it working again, because that's one of the most stressful things that can happen, but it's happened now and you've surmounted it, so all is well. We've got some lovely comments coming in the chat. Blending of the sounds was beautiful. We've got a question of how much setup does the Clarion take? Can we have an answer on that?
The problems we have just earlier are the fact that we're layering Zoom on top of Clarion, and Clarion takes a full screen of the laptop, and I think that's where the issues of technology issues are coming. So take away Zoom, it's actually very easy. Literally an app on your desktop, you open it, and particularly with the gyroscopic mouse, it's a plug and play on a USB and turn on the side. But a lot of Clarion players play it with a head thing where you have a reflective dot and a camera above the screen.
I think, all right.
You say what you think?
And the dot, the thing that to do the dot
Yeah.
and the head.
Yeah. It's a reflection. It picks up heat sources and things.
Also the heat. The heat.
Yes, that can make it a bit lively to deal with the reflective dot in the summer, as we learned.
Essentially in a performance situation where you've got bright lights.
Absolutely. One question, we've got one time for one more question from Tim Fletcher. Do the different shapes do different things? Do more square ones have a different sound?
Yes. No.
No, we use different shapes to maybe show where you come on to a piece, so you always know where you're starting. And sometimes different shapes fit better with the music in terms of how you use it. So a big square gives you lots of area to circle in to give that vibrato type sound.
Also, it's slowed up.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I wish we had time for more chat about that, Ali. It was great to hear it. Thank you both so much for being here and for playing. I love this. Sonia said, it's transporting us to another musical realm, evocative and moving. Well done. Really, really super.
Thank you everyone for your brilliant questions. We are going to collate them together and put them into a blog post and respond to the questions that we haven't had time to respond to today. I'm also going to post a link to a survey in the chat. If you do have time, that would be great if you could click on that link and fill out a survey and let us know how you found today. And we hope to see you at the following 5 webinars that we're doing over the next couple of months. And yeah, thank you so much to all our brilliant performers. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Steve. And thank you, everybody, for coming.
Just to remind you, everyone, that next one, 25th of March, inclusive music making activities. Make sure you don't miss it. It's going to be a good one. Thanks again to everyone. It's been lovely to have a performance to start off this series of webinars. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Cassie and I are always, our inboxes are always open if you have any questions. So you just use our names at drakemusic.org if you have anything you'd like to ask afterwards. But if you have, I think that's everything. I think it's everything, isn't it, Cassie? I think that's everything.
That is everything.
Yeah.
coming, and we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Hope you will have a wonderful evening.
Have a
Bye-bye,
great evening.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.